Newbies! Welcome back to the Mega List. I am your host, Lauren, and today we are going to be talking about some very, very fun stuff. But first, I just want to say hi to Chris and to my beautiful daughter, Kaylee, who is literally in the comment section right now because she's the cutest thing in the entire world. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Let me know if there's any audio problems. You know, we're really not always, professional with the sounds and stuff like that. So hopefully this will sound really, and what's the word? Hopefully the sound is there. That would be the ideal goal that there would actually be sound that you guys could be hearing as I'm going live. Hopefully this is working throughout all the different social media sites that I'm on right now. So, okay, I'm hearing that people are able to hear me. That's very, very good. I'm happy to hear that. People are being able to hear me over on Facebook. So let's go ahead and get started. If you don't already know, the idea of the Mega List is that we'll just sort of bring you things that are recommendations, things that are suggestions, sort of like a big giant list. But today, mostly this big giant list is going to be all about what's coming up in the near future. So we have some exciting stuff going on coming up soon, and not necessarily just for Tulips and Honey, but we'll get to that in a second. But there are some quick announcements that I wanted to make before we get into the bulk of what we're going to be talking about today. So first, if you haven't gotten the chance to check out the other podcasters on the Hub's channel, if you didn't know, Tulips and Honey Hub is a channel. We have other podcasters that are dropping episodes throughout the week. And so, of course, on Monday, you'll have Tulips and Honey. And on Tuesday, we have the Aquila and Priscilla Hour. Over on Saturdays, we have the Always Only. I always want to switch it around, Only Always, but it's Always Only with Emma. And so we have a couple of other podcasters that are still gearing up to join us. And the big announcement that I want to make today is that we have a brand new podcaster that has signed up, and I'm super excited to tell you all about her. She's going to be starting after July. But before we do have a sad announcement to say that the Chuck and Lo show is no longer going to be on our channel. We were so thankful and excited that they were able to podcast with us for the time that they were with us. I know that they're going to be glorifying God in all that they are doing. We're not separate. We're all on the same team. We just sometimes we have different positions to play on this team, but we're all bringing God glory. And it was such a blessing to get to know them and to have them be a part of Tulips and Honey for the time being that they were. So we just really want to let them know that we're praying for them, that they are always going to be welcome on Tulips and Honey and on the Mega List, and we're going to support them in any way that we can as they go forward. So the exciting announcement that we wanted to make is that we have, and I know you're all going to be really excited about this because you all love her book, but Brooke Bartz has joined the Tulips and Honey team. She's going to be starting her podcast at the end of July. This is her book. If you haven't gotten to read it yet, I know we went through it in the book reads in our book club. So here is her book, Chronic Love. She's going to be joining the team. We're super excited to have her join us and to see what she was going to be adding to the podcasting community. So keep your eyes and ears out for that. She'll be coming to Tulips and Honey at the end of July. And the reason why she has to wait until the end of July is because of the next announcement, the next thing that we want to talk about. Of course, we've been talking about this conference coming up for a few weeks now, but now we have some more specific details to bring you. So the conference is a women's conference. It's going to be happening in July, and July 13th, I believe, is the first day. I'm going to make sure that I got that right by checking all my information. So Brooke is putting on Open Hearts in a Closed World Women's Conference, and she is heading this up. Wow, I am so impressed by her organization, and it's so sweet. Every time I tell her that, she's like, I'm not organized, but she really is. Her organization skills are really impressive to me. Like every time we have a meeting, she's got things listed. She's just knocking things out left and right, and I'm so excited to be a part of the team putting this conference together to help in any little way that I can. She's got some really, really great biblically solid women teachers lined up for this. So I'm going to give you some details now so that you can really be putting this on your calendar and looking forward to this coming up. We've got Brooke Bartz, of course, she's going to be speaking on Monday, and then on Tuesday, I've got the order in front of me because I'm not very good at remembering these things. Tuesday, Susan Heck is going to be doing a it's going to be like 30 to 45 minutes of a teaching. So you've got Brooke Bartz on Monday, Susan Heck on Tuesday. On Wednesday, Penny Amack, she's the one that writes the foreword for Brooke in her book. If you've got it, the foreword in this is from Penny Amack. That's Brooke's mentor, and I've gotten to speak with her a little bit in a meeting. She's very, very sweet, very soft-spoken woman. I can't wait to hear her teaching. On Thursday, it's going to be Erin Coates, and she's going to be so Thursday, she'll be speaking on Thursday, Erin Coates. And then Friday will be Michelle Leslie. And so those are the main speakers for the conference. And each day there's going to be a breakout session, and those breakout sessions are going to be more creative. So we have Danielle from Imperfect Dust. We have Jasmine from The Clever Decorator. We have Jess from Genuinely Ginger, and Carrie from Garland and Blossoms. They're going to be doing breakout sessions each day. And then for the worship, we're absolutely honored to have City of Light planning on doing 5 sets of 3 different songs for the worship music for that conference. This is all going to be on IGTV. We're trying to make sure that we get it on other platforms as well, so Facebook, hopefully, and YouTube, where you'll be able to watch live with us. The conference is going to go on for 5 days. So that's happening in July. We're really excited. If you guys could please be praying for Brooke as she puts this on. I know that this is a lot of work for one gal, and she is doing such a great job. Jess is doing the graphics, and she's come up with some beautiful stuff. I can show you just a little bit of the logo here. This is the beautiful logo. Of course, Mark 10:45 is the scripture for this. Open hearts in a closed world. The idea behind this conference is servitude. So the women serving, and each speaker is going to be bringing a different portion of scripture or a different idea behind how we serve, and I'm very excited about this. So keep that in your calendars. Be sure that you are keeping your eye out for different information as we go. If you can share the information, make sure that other women in your church are aware of this, that it's coming. We're hoping to get this out to all the women so that they know that there's going to be this source out there for them whenever they are able to watch it. Obviously, it will be live on IGTV and other platforms, but it'll still be available even if they don't get the chance to really look at it at the time. So it's going to still be there even after the fact. So that's the conference. I'm thinking, let's see here, the upcoming stuff for the podcast. I've got today, I actually just before this finished an interview with Brandon Kimber from the American Gospel. I have his American Gospel Christ Alone. Of course, he's also done the American Gospel Christ Crucified. That's the second one, and he's working on the third one right now. That's kind of a little bit of most of what we talked about in the interview was that, and that'll be coming out in the next few weeks. There's a few other interviews that I did before this one that are going to come out before that. And then, of course, this Monday, I'll be dropping an episode of a very, very loving, adorable couple, and it was fun to get to talk to them both at the same time. And so their sneak peek will be at the end of this, so make sure that you stick around so that you can catch that sneak peek for Monday. And then I've done some other interviews that I'll be talking about next week. I'm really excited. I've got Costi Hen coming up to interview, so if you could be praying for me talking to him, that'll be a little bit I'll be a little nervous about that. So also, I just wanted to really, really quickly address the issues that have been going on with I believe I hate to even mention his YouTube account, but I think his name is Service Christus on YouTube, and he has recently come out with an attack against Doreen Virtue and Justin Peters. And so that has been a bit of an issue for the past week or so, where there's been some slander, some stuff that's just out and out false. And so, yeah, I know Chris says, ugh, that guy. I know. I was really, really taken aback by the whole thing. And since he was playing a clip of my interview that I did with Doreen and Phil in that, I thought that it might be a good idea to just touch base on this a little bit. Let you all know that not only has Justin Peters come out with a very helpful video addressing all of this, but Doreen also released a video explaining from her own perspective about her testimony and things like that. Oh, Sissy, she says, I'm so sorry. That's okay. My sweet daughter. She is such an adorable little sweet thing. I love you, Sissy. She's talking in the comments and it's just too much cuteness for me. Okay, so I just wanted to address that, let you all know that I 100% stand behind Doreen and Justin Peters. The things that were said in that video were slanderous. They were false. It's easily rebuked. And so if you want that information, Justin Peters definitely handled it really, really well, as did Doreen Virtue. So that's out there. That's available. When I get done with this, I'll try to make sure to link to it below so that you can actually get to see that for yourself. But before we move on to the question that I had sent in, I just wanted to show you today's modern or not modern. I know it's been a couple of weeks since I've been able to do this. Things got really, really intense there for a little bit, but now I'm able to pull back into our contest, modern or not modern, just in case you don't remember how this works. The first person to oh, wait, no, we're doing it differently this time. Okay, modern or not modern, it works a little differently than all the other ones. It's been so long since I've done this that I've almost forgot. So how this is going to work is you're going to tell me whether or not this idea, this biblical idea, whether it's heretical or not, whether it is modern or not. So we're not talking about if this is heresy. Obviously, we will address it whenever it is heresy. But this here is, I know, I'm sorry, I could totally confuse you. Sorry about that. But this is an idea that happened in church history at one point or another. You have to tell me whether or not it is modern or not. So without Googling, I just want you to give me your gut reaction. Is this something that has been in existence for the last 500 years? Or is this something that goes all the way back further beyond that? So 1500s and plus is considered like the early modern era by some scholars. Previous to that is not modern. So this is today's biblical idea, not saying that this is truth, because it's obviously not biblically true. This is a false idea, a false heresy, I guess. We could say it was a heresy. So I just need to know your opinion. Is this modern or not? And this is going to be posted on my Instagram, over in the group, on the Facebook group, and of course over in the actual Facebook page, Tulips and Honey Hub. If you want to guess on all three of those, it will get you 3 entries into the contest. At the end of the month, we'll be doing a giveaway, a drawing for a gift card, an Amazon gift card, so you can buy all of your tulip paper if you are still out, and hand sanitizer or anything else that you might want from Amazon. There's also going to be a free shirt or coffee mug from the shop given away. If you want something like that, you have to guess. And of course, you can continue to guess all. Oh no, Chris, you're fine. You can totally guess here. This counts. This counts. You can guess in the comments too. Guess here, guess there. All of them count. And the more you guess, the more entries that you get. So there you go. That is today's modern or not modern. Don't forget to check in on Wednesdays. I'll be giving another one on Wednesdays. And then, of course, on our Friday live event, it'll happen again. So you'll have more options, more ability to be entered into the giveaway. So there is a question that was sent in by one of our listeners. I'm going to answer that briefly, and then I will let you guys get to what you're really here for, what you really, really want is the sneak peek. I know, I understand. That's really why you're all here. So we'll get to that in just a second. But first, so we got this question sent in, and she was concerned about posting it in the group because that it's actually referring to a little bit of vaccine stuff, and she knows that that's like a really, really big hot button issue. But so she saw something floating around the stuff that happens in the Facebook Live that for some reason I can't see you, and some people can't even comment, which is even weirder. But anyways, the question is about the word pharmakia. So we've heard this word used, this Greek word used a lot. And she wasn't sure if this was even actually what Revelation 18:23 is talking about whenever it says sorcery. And so her question is, what she's seeing is people suggesting that you should not use the vaccine for the COVID virus because it's pharmakia. And so you're going to be somehow disobedient to God if you take on this vaccine. Hi, Kristen. That's who it is from Facebook. Hi, how are you? It's good to see you here. So this idea is something that we've heard a lot. It's almost like something that's brought up every time there's a new type of medication, a new type of anything really that has to do with our health. People are always talking about the word pharmakia and sorcery and how that, eventually down the road became what we would call pharmacy. Now, the problem with this idea is that you're taking a large swath of history, like church history, 2,000 years worth, and you're using this word that meant something then, that even though it was pulled through the Greek to create the word pharmacy, it doesn't mean that same thing today. So back then, what they were hoping to do was bring in elements. And that's really sorcery, like genuine sorcery back then, where you were hoping to bring in elements of different things and make something happen, right? Like that was the idea. Alchemy is something that takes over eventually throughout history. And that is similar, only there's not as much of a magical aspect. There's still some mystical stuff that is thrown into alchemy, but that's really because they don't actually understand how the world works yet. This science hasn't caught up to where we are today. So when you're talking about pharmacies today and vaccines today, you're not talking about the same thing as the sorcery of 2,000 years ago. And so when people are using this to say that you shouldn't get the vaccine, it's really confusing. It's not just taking a verse out of context, but it's actually pulling a modern context and enforcing it on scripture from 2,000 years ago. So that's why hermeneutics is so important. And the 3 rules of hermeneutics is context, context, context. Because if you take something out of context, it's going to be confusing, especially if you push it into today's time frame. So I thought this was a great question from her. I was really excited. She had already made it to the right conclusion where she said, wouldn't that mean then that we wouldn't want to use any modern medication? And she was 100% right whenever she came to that conclusion. That if you're going to say no vaccines because of pharmakia, then if you have a headache, you also can't take Tylenol. You shouldn't go to the doctor. Like that is too broad of a concept for you to just pull this one little verse out and say, because of this word, now nobody should get this one specific vaccine. And so hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully that'll explain some of the stuff going on. It's very easy to pull a Greek word and make it into something that it's not. And so that's why we have to be careful. Knowing your Greek is great. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't understand Greek and that using, the term pharmakia is wrong. Solid preachers do that all the time. I'm just saying that we have to make sure that we're not pushing our own modern perspective into that word. And hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully I answered that question. I know there's a lot of people that could probably answer that a lot better than I did. I don't know Greek. It's Greek to me, so I've heard that word and I try to learn as much of this stuff as possible. I heard that right now Rosetta Stone is free because of the pandemic. I might check that out and see if we can learn a little bit more. But anyways, if it's even still free, I mean, I've heard that a couple of weeks ago, so I don't know. It might not be free anymore. But that's really it. That's all I've got for you guys today. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. If I did, I'm so sorry. I'll definitely mention it next Friday. Don't forget to check out my 2 favorite, I guess I can't say my 2. So in the top 10 of my favorites is Cave to the Cross Apologetics and Women at the Table. There's so many other podcasts that I absolutely adore. If you have a podcast or a blog or any kind of ministry and you want to self-promote, we like plugs, lots and lots of plugs. Put all the plugs in the comments below so that we can find your ministry. Voice of Reason, that's another great one. You've got the Bar Podcast. Those are all wonderful podcasts to check out, so make sure that you do. Michelle Leslie's podcast, A Word Fitly Spoken, that's another great one. So some quick plugs right there, just to some few different resources for you this weekend. Also, Heartcry put out their 3rd documentary. If you get the chance to check that out, I heard it was really, really good. I haven't gotten to watch it yet, but I'm hoping to watch it really soon. So yeah, I think that's all the plugs I can think of and all the recommendations. Check out all of these great podcasters. Don't forget to read your scripture and pray. We would really appreciate prayer as this conference is continuing. And that is it. So here you go, the thing you've all been waiting for, the sneak peek. And I'll see you guys next Friday. Bye, Humblebees.
and everything.
Well, because it kind of came down to what are you gonna do for with with anything? Like I think when you first have like this knowledge and mindset change, like my first thought is like, do you need to be a pastor? Like
Right.
you have
Yeah.
this information and people need to know. Like
Right.
so
Right.
Yeah.
so he couldn't. Well, I think that did that help spark?
That helped spark some ideas, but I had some ideas earlier before that
Okay.
about like I had the name RefToons uh, in my mind for a couple of years before I even did
Wow.
anything with it.
That's
And
so
then
cool.
just one day as I was inking some just fun pictures just for personal projects and stuff, I thought of this idea of like turning Martin Luther into a cartoon character and having a bunch of kids trick or treating behind him at the doors of Wittenberg. So I drew that out real quick and inked it, and I was like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna finish this up, and I'm gonna try posting it as RefToons, see what happens."
Wow. Just like that. That is so cool. And did it just blow up like
No.
crazy, or did it take a
it
while?
took a little bit,
Well, I mean, it depends. It feels like it was kind of slow,
yeah, but
but that's over 2 years.
we started in
Wait,
2017.
like that would have been
It
October
I think
2017.
it did pretty well starting out, but then once more and more people saw it, and I continued to put out more tunes,
Right.
uh, then people started noticing, I think.
Oh, that's